This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
The National Bureau of Statistics has announced that the price of cooking gas for a 12.5 kilogram container for the month of February was 15,000 naira. Now, this particular increase is almost 50% more than what it cost in February of 2023. Joining us this morning to help understand the numbers is the operations manager at Electricity Hub. The operations manager at Electricity Hub, Omono Okonkwo. Ms. Okonkwo, good morning and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
What do you make of this report by the National Bureau of Statistics?
Well, I am not shocked by the increase in liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas. This is because commodity and service prices have seen the increase in recent times, and all this will contribute one way or another to the gas increase. Now, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, refilling a 5 kg cooking gas cylinder now costs 6,154 naira, while 12.5 kg refill costs over 15,000 naira as of February 2024, with Lagos, Imo, Ogun, Delta, Edo, and Anambra states having the highest prices in both classes. Now, the product itself is not 100% produced in Nigeria, so some of it is imported, and the foreign exchange is what it is. Then you add logistics costs in the face of the high cost of living in the country. All these have definitely played a part in this scenario.
Ms. Okonkwo, I'm glad that you touch on what's driving the figures up. Just early last month, I believe it was, that the federal government said they were suspending the export of gas from the country. This was supposed to be part of what would drive down the prices. Can you speak to us on why we're not seeing the impact of that decision?
Well, as you may be aware, it is mostly LPG imports that are usually priced in US dollars. This affects the entire value chain because the imported LPG will be sold to stakeholders across all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. And each state will need to transport the product. And the cost of that will be part of what the end consumer pays at the end of the day. We are still importing some level of LPG. That's what I want people to be aware of. So as at the time of when NBS collected this data, we were not producing enough LPG locally. And this is already a challenge in the value chain. So definitely we will keep paying very high for LPG if we must use it.
What sort of steps does government need to start taking to fix this matter?
Well, we just need to increase local production. Now, considering the fact that the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, I think during the Nigeria International Energy Summit, which ended early this month, they said that they had started to produce over 1.5 million metric tons of LPG in the country, and they have started supplying LPG in naira as opposed to US dollars. Now that should introduce some form of ease in the value chain. But when it comes to demand, it is important for people to know that the country needs over 5 million metric tons per annum. So when you put that against the 1.5 coming out from the NLNG, we still have a shortfall. And we'll keep importing to service that shortfall so we can meet up with demand. So for me, I think we should expect a roller coaster of sorts when it comes to LPG pricing. It might be down today, up tomorrow, who knows? But another thing we can look into is making sure that there is ease of doing business in the country, right? Because I feel like sometimes we're not so focused on ease of doing business. People are importing these things, and they still have to deal with local issues. When I say local issues, I'll give you an example. For instance, I'm an LPG importer, and I want to take from Lagos to maybe Kano or Sokoto State. As my driver is trucking this LPG across this state, across several local government areas, they are still taxed locally. Now, these taxes are necessarily not official, yes, but at the end of the day, when I put all the costs together, I would definitely want to make my own return on investment. So at the end of the day, it is the end consumer that suffers this whole thing. So I think we can, on our own, locally address some of all these extra taxation, all these local government area taxation that really is not official. It's just some people are on the road, disturbing these drivers and making them pay outrageously for what they are trying to transport across several states.
Ms. Okonkwo, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. Our guest on the conversation is Omono Okonkwo, the operations manager at Electricity Hub, and she joined us to speak on the National Bureau of Statistics figures for the prices of gas for the month of February 2024. We ask you to stay tuned. The conversation continues on News Extra in just a moment.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.